What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with some Destiny 2 updates. And so Bungie are investigating some new issues with this content drop, but they've also fixed a couple of problems in Onslaught, plus to give us an update on a missing emblem, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the final shape, and the possible return of a sunset weapon. Plus we've got a couple of other updates that have gone under the radar, new public event bosses, and more rumours about a supposed Destiny 3, so plenty to talk about in the video guys. As always, I hope you enjoy this one, but without further delay, let's get into it. And firstly, some updates from Bungie Help here. They do say they're investigating an issue where acquiring a new light kit will override players' currently saved loadout of the corresponding subclass. But Bungie have finally recognised this one. Essentially, if you already have a loadout set up with a void subclass, for example, if you pick up the corresponding new light kit, it basically messes up your build and resets everything. So just look out for that one if you don't need the new light kit. Probably not worth picking it up. But Bungie also say we've resolved the following issues, and repeatable Onslaught bounties will no longer decrease total available bounty capacity. That was an annoying bug. Plus, they've increased the activity complete timer upon completion of Onslaught, and players must open all available chests to receive the rewards. So more time to grab the chests isn't a bad thing, I suppose. Also, something I meant to mention the other day, but accidentally left out of the video, but Bungie said they were investigating an issue with the emblem related to the Final Shape developer gameplay preview. A bunch of players weren't able to unlock it, so they basically made it free, and you can see the code for that on screen. Plus I'll put it in the description box below with the redeem page linked there as well. Otherwise, Cascade Point is still disabled, and Bungie are investigating other issues with Onslaught, like bonus objective UI overlapping player buffs, certain enemies teleporting and appearing behind the ADU on Vostok, players missing the portal to return to the ADU, and a couple of other things, so hopefully we'll be getting patches and updates on those soon. Another very final mention from Bungie though, and they've said it was previously announced that the trials map for this weekend would be Rusted Lands, but the intended map is Burnout, and that will remain active until the weekly reset. So just some clarification, as some folks were expecting Rusted Lands. Staying on the subject of this season though, firstly, apparently Tormentor bosses now show up in heroic public events, and specifically the Taken Blight public event seems to have a new boss spawning in. Don't know if this was in the patch notes, but little random intriguing element, and probably a story related Easter egg as we head towards the final shape. So look out for those grisly tormentors if you are completing Taken Blight public events on Heroic. I guess it also leans a little bit into the updated enemy race for the Darkness, which we're getting in the final shape. Something a lot of players were certainly pleased to hear about. There's quite a bit of variety in these new Darkness enemies. We can see a bunch of images for them on screen as well. So pretty excited for the Dread enemy faction. And of course in story gameplay or general day-to-day stuff, it'll be interesting enough to fight them there, but just imagine the possibility of these enemies being in things like Grandmaster Nightfalls, the new raid, dungeons, and so on. It's certainly going to be interesting, and give us your thoughts on those down below. Otherwise, for this season's content, we still have 6 weapons which are due to release for Into the Light, and they're going to drop in the next 3 weeks. Looking at the quest pursuits for them though, the R-side quests are going to be pretty similar to what we've already had. For Mountaintop, we need to rapidly defeat combatants using breach-loaded grenade launchers anywhere in the system, or defeat Guardians using grenade launchers. Midnight Coup will require rapid defeats in PvE, or Guardian defeats with hand cannons. Then for Hammerhead, we can rapidly defeat combatants using machine guns anywhere in the system, or defeat combatants in Vanguard Ops activities using machine guns, and we get bonus progress for higher difficulty Nightfalls. Then for Barents, we'll have the option to defeat combatants in raids or dungeons using grenade launchers. Then of course there will be Blast Furnace and Luna's Howl quests, which have the option of Guardian or combatant defeats as well. Otherwise, these quests are all pretty similar. Whether it'll be worth farming these out in things like Nightfalls or dungeons isn't entirely clear. I guess it depends how quickly you want to get them done. For folks who want to clear them really fast, they'll probably continue to use methods like Shura-Chi or the entrance to Grasp of Avarice. But those are the upcoming drops nonetheless. Another quick thing that some players are reporting on, but Bungie have also reintroduced Dares of Eternity weapon perks that were previously removed, and these can now roll on new drops or be added to shaped versions of the weapon. So some folks will already have these weapons with these perks because they've dropped previously, but Retraced Path can once again get Genesis and Shoot to Loot in the first trait column, with Disruption Break and Harmony in the second trait column. The BXR Battler can once again get Autoloading or Snapshot in the first trait slot, with Adrenaline Junkie or Rangefinder in the second trait slot. And Pardon Our Dust can now drop with Pulse Monitor and Ensemble once again, as well as Danger Zone or Wellspring in the second trait slot, and then for the other half, it can get Energy Transfer and Surrounded. The Wastelander is able to get Ensemble or Dual Loader, with the second slot able to get Harmony or Adagio. And finally for the half-truths, they've added Thresh back into the first trait slot and Harmony into the second slot. So kind of an overdue update on adding those perks back into the weapon. Once again, some folks will will have roles of these that already have those perks on, but for the past year or two, they haven't been able to drop on new roles, so a minor update worth knowing about there. On to more future content though. As I mentioned the other day, Bungie have confirmed that Prismatic does work in PvP. Some players wondered if it would because Bungie hadn't specifically mentioned it, but it does. And also a few players have pointed out that Perfect Paradox may be coming back, and Battalion on Reddit shared a screenshot right here from the Final Shape gameplay reveal, and the Titan is indeed holding Perfect Paradox, so perhaps that one's going to come back as well. Of course, there are other reprised weapons like Red Death and the Kvostov, which Bungie have spoken about previously, and they're going to feature as part of the expansion too, so there's definitely a nostalgia component there, and other reprisals along the way seem entirely possible. The final mention here though, reported by the Game Post, and there are more rumours about Destiny 3 development, and of course earlier in the week, players reiterated a leak that had actually come out about 3 months ago that suggested Bungie were working on a subclass called Prismatic, and that's been confirmed this week. But they'd also said that Bungie had been working on Destiny 3 in the background, and the same user has now said that apparently Destiny 3 under the codename Payback has been in development for at least a couple of years, but it's been heavily in the background with less resources than Destiny 2 or Marathon. But they did say D3 is a new game, not a DLC or a revamp of Destiny 2, and as far as their most recent info goes, it is a brand new game in the franchise. But they also said that the Payback codename for Destiny 3 isn't necessarily related to the story, but is Bungie's sort of internal vision to pay off various ideas that they haven't brought to life yet, including delivering improvements on the game and things like that. So interesting once again, but of course, always take it with a pinch of salt. This is by no means confirmed. It is, however, a very curious leak, considering that parts of it have appeared to be correct. So share your thoughts down below. But for today, guys, that's what we have to speak about. As always, I'll keep you up to date with more Destiny content. If you've enjoyed the video today, a rating really does help us out. And also be sure to get subscribed if you want to be kept up to date with the game. And otherwise, I hope you guys have an awesome day.